Hey everyone, we're having an early stream. It's because of the Fisher Random Championship, so I don't have time this evening. But we will be doing some game reviews of your best Hammer Repertoire games. Hello to Grumpy Aquila, Shreyas, we have Keep Your Cool, Pizza Racer in chat as well. How's everyone doing? Hey Harold, how are you? Okay, so we have a selection of submitted games to the Hammer Repertoire channel on Discord, which today we will review. And I'm trying to remember which games we reviewed the last time round. I think... Not sure we recommended. We looked at this one. Okay, I think we're just going to start at the most recently submitted games and then work our way back. Kasta! Happy All Saints Day, huh? How are you doing? Thank you for the 4-month resub. Phlegathon, hello, how are you? Okay. So we'll start with this game, I think. Today is All Saints. I don't remember what he called it. It's like, apparently in Hungary, they're celebrating their saints, whereas in Mexico, they're celebrating the dead. But on the other hand, saints, I suppose, are dead. Very often they died to get their sainthood. What do I know? I didn't really pay that much attention in class. Probably should have. Okay, first up we have Flo. Who is in chat. Very good. In Germany, it's the Day of the Dead. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like it's Day of the Dead, but in Norwegian, it's like All Saints Day. Allehelgensdag. So literally, it translates to Allehelgen, but it feels like it's more of a dead thingy. I don't really know. Apparently, the Swedes have a vacation for today. Is that true? Whereas Norway does not, yet Norway has more vacation days than Sweden. We didn't really figure out how that came about. Oh, it's tomorrow, Pizza Racer. Oh, well, then I'm just confused. Okay, let's get to it. We have a position. We're going to make sure that this submission uses the Hammer trademark repertoire, because otherwise we don't want anything to do with this game. It's a Spanish opening, a6, we go with the bishop back, and then d6. And I cannot remember what I recommended in this variation. I cannot remember. What is my recommendation here? I think we're going to have to cheat. I think this is one of those occasions where I'm going to have to open a separate window. We're going to have to go to Learn Video Series. Complete Repertoire by Hammer. Very good. And we're going to need to go to the minor Spanish lines. And we're going to have to listen in. we're definitely figuring out whether or not flow has early deviations. Is that it? I think it might be early deviations. Okay, let's have a listen to this guy.
It's time to look at my very favorite variation in the Spanish. We're going to take a look at the Berlin defense. But in addition to that, we're also going to look at some other early deviations. We're going to look at some Spanishes with the move D6.
Yeah,
And
this
we'll
is the
also
one.
look at some Spanish lines with the G6 fianchetto move.
Yeah, this is the
We'll
one.
start out, I think, with the D6 lines.
Yes.
So after bishop b5, the move that signifies the Spanish opening, then d6 is one way of playing, but it's a little bit passive because this allows white to move forward in the center.
Okay, but we don't really want that, do we? We want the line where you go a6 and then d6. I'm gonna fast forward. Fast forward. Okay, I think this might be closer to it.
If you're not careful, you're going to end up losing this game. Because if queen takes the pawn on d4, then c5 attacks the queen. Queen moves, threatens checkmate, threatens the rook, but it's black who has the last laugh because he goes bishop e6, preventing both of those threats. Queen gives a check, bishop steps in the way.
This
Queen
is not
goes
really.
back, asks, "Okay, dude, you ready for a repetition of moves?" And black goes, "No." The bishop on b3.
Yeah, but this is not really the question.
D6. The reason this is much better is that if now white goes d4.
Yeah, okay,
this
so
is
we get
met
it.
by
d4 is not a move here.
With knight f6.
I'm gonna turn off the sound until we figure out what's going on here. Okay, I think
Then
I have
we go
moved
rook
on.
e1, b5, bishop b3. And if black here plays bishop e7, then c3 brings us to the main lines of the Spanish opening. However, black can try in this position to go knight a5 and say that I'm punishing you.
Yeah, we don't really care about this line.
Trapping the bishop.
Please move on.
However, in this circumstance, it's not.
Okay, I'm muting myself. We're listening in on the Hammer Repertoire, Sora. We're trying to figure out what is the recommended move here for white in the position after 4d6. Now, Flo tells me that he played the right move, but I'm just double checking. That he's got it right, because we're having a competition on who played the best game using the Hammer Repertoire, and we got to make sure that people are actually using the Hammer Repertoire.
7 move. Going back though. There's an option of playing bishop to d7.
Very good.
And now.
So castles,
and
bishop
this is
d7.
important because it's easy to get confused with the move orders. Now we're gonna play d4.
Now we're gonna play
After
d4.
Black has committed to going bishop d7, and you may ask, what difference does that make? And truthfully, it's not that big a difference, because still we have to be careful. After b5, bishop moves, knight takes, we take. Now queen takes d4 is still a very bad move because of this plan with c5 and then c4. This is the exact same position we had earlier. But this time, after pawn takes the knight, we're not going to take this one. In fact, we're going to play a gambit. We'll play the move c3, which offers the pawn for free, but at least gives the bishop some breathing space so that it's not going to get trapped. After takes, we go queen h5, a very tricky move, eyeing the f7 pawn, the bishop and queen working together. g6, then we go queen d5, once again attacking this pawn, but also putting pressure on the rook, so that if black tries to protect with the queen, then the rook is gonna fall in the corner. So black here only has one defensive move, bishop e6, after which queen c6, the bishop has to go back, and now queen takes c3. It's been a bit of a journey for the queen over the last couple of...
Yeah, I hear you, Flo. How are you supposed to remember all of this when I cannot even remember this? I think that's a fair assessment. Although I will say that we have discovered a brilliant new way of streaming. I don't really need to be streaming myself. I can just turn on the Repertoire series. This was absolutely brilliant. I love this. Okay, so it turns out moving the pawn to d4 was the recommendation I had. But seeing as how I couldn't even remember that myself, I guess we'll forgive Flo for not having that in his memory bank just yet. But something to keep in mind for future studying, huh? I'm gonna remember this now for the next time. Hey David, how are you doing? Yeah, keep your cool. I think it's better to actually insert a6. I think this line is better when you push the bishop back. Okay, so that was a quick review of what the recommended lines were. Very interesting gambit here, but you got to get your move order straight. So it's very important not to play d4 immediately, but you're supposed to do it after bishop d7. Tricky stuff. Okay, so Flo instead played the move c3, and then knight f6, logical, rook e1, logical, getting the rook into the center, bishop e7, h3. We're playing all the normal Spanish moves. I like it. This is good. h6, that's fine. d4, taking control in the center. Ooh, this is like... It doesn't really matter whether or not you remember the recommended line, because here Flo has just played all of the standard Spanish moves with supporting your center with h3, making sure that the bishop doesn't land on g4, and then just building with c3 and d4. Good stuff. Yeah, Flo. I mean, the Repertoire series being released on Chessable is certainly a possibility. Probably not this year, but maybe early next year. I'll keep you up to speed. Dream Spanish. I concur. Keep your cool. This is textbook stuff. However, I will say, Flo, now you played knight d2. And one of the reasons we do this knight maneuver in the Spanish, it's simply because the c3 square is unavailable for the knight. So here you've already gotten your perfect center, and you have the c3 square available. So here you could have just played knight c3, because the reason we don't do it normally is because a pawn is occupying that square. Okay, but he goes for the standard Spanish maneuvering game. Yes. I approve of everything so far. Then he goes ahead and gives away his bishop unprovoked. I have some questions about that decision, but it's probably not a bad move. Because what he's saying is that afterwards I get to attack that pawn on g5, and it's a bit awkward for black to defend it. So black is kind of stuck with the queen on a suboptimal square. Queen tries to get into the game, potentially playing queen takes d4. But then just the rook comes to protect. And after rook d8, that's a blunder. Because now white gets a double attack on the queen and on the pawn on c7. So here, basically what happened was that black surrendered control in the center. And white just had such a nice game. Having central control, which restricted black's pieces. And also just had really good squares. So that the pieces could do lots of annoying stuff. Could have exchanged queens. Did exchange queens. 2 pawns up. I just want to, for reference, I want to say that here I would play g takes f5. Just taking in towards the center should always be your go-to instinct. Because when you take with the e-pawn, you isolate the pawn on d4. So that this pawn no longer has other pawns close to it. Yes, you open up the e-file, but I still think it would be more valuable to take with a pawn, take towards the center, have one less pair of doubled pawns than what you had in the game. But also, and I think this is the biggest reason I feel this way, that your pawn on d4 now would have a buddy on the file adjacent. Keep your cool. I'm sorry I took a teaching moment from your comment or from that you were trying to highlight and highlighted it myself. I'm sorry if my stream is interrupting your wish to highlight points in the game. Okay. E takes f5. Okay, Flul says that he wanted to have more pawns on the king side because he wanted to attack the king. Fair enough, but the queens have been exchanged, so it's more like an endgame. And so I think positional considerations should be the number one. G6, okay, no longer doubled pawns. That worked out very nicely. The rook comes up into the attack. Pawn joining the party and taking out the pawn on g6. So far, black is just getting absolutely destroyed. So many pawns. So many pawns have been captured. Yeah, gotta watch out for them. Gotta watch out for them forks. But white has 4 pawns, so it doesn't really matter. There's an avalanche of pawns coming down the board, and there's just no stopping them. I really like your central control flow. I like the fact that you showcase the normal plans for the Spanish opening in a very good fashion. And it just, you made the Spanish opening look so good in this game. I think your opponent was a bit helpful, especially when he captured on d4. So you just got complete control in the center. After this, you got these 2 amazing pawns and he's just standing there with his pieces passively. But it was well executed and good piece play in the center. Okay, let's find the next game. Okay, another game from Flo against me. I don't think he won it though. I believe I won it. Oh, and I get to see it from black's perspective because I was black and I'm logged into my user account. Hey Turk, how you doing? Okay, so let's see. Flo playing the Hammer repertoire against Hammer. And Hammer goes for the Berlin. Oh yeah, I remember this. I played this really dumb line with bishop f6. I don't think that variation is very good. Because afterwards, the bishop kind of gets stuck on f6. And the knight is optimally... Oh, sorry. The knight is optimally placed to come forward and capture the bishop. So I wasn't really intending to do this. The main line is knight to e8. Okay, but I did go bishop f6. And when I realized my mistake, I was thinking about how can I get this bishop into play in a better way. I can flip the board. Wow. Flip board. Very good. Black giving up the bishop pair. Yeah, big yikes. QVD. Which is why I started thinking about how can I avoid that. So I played bishop d4. Because I decided the bishop was poorly placed on f6 regardless. So it might as well move into the center and kind of scare the opponent by pointing towards the king. And I think what white should have done here is play the move knight d5. Because it's the same idea in the main line, that the knight comes to e7 and just captures the bishop. And this bishop on d4 is not going to be amazingly placed, because white will play c3 and d4 and block it out of play very soon. Instead, I did manage to provoke knight e2, which kind of leaves the knight poorly placed down here. And after bishop b6, d4, I got to go knight e4. And suddenly my pieces have some activity. I'm about to go d5 on the next move. And I have an okay position. After c6, white wants knight e3. No, I don't think so. Keep your cool. I think if c6, you just go knight e7. King moves, and you just take, and then something like c3. I don't know if you have to go d4. Very often you wanna wait to decide how far up you want to go with your pawns. But even d4 could be interesting, and then maybe d5 after, maybe a4, something like this. This is very similar to the line I recommend in the repertoire, where white is a little bit better with the bishops long term. Hey Adro, how you doing? Oh, Turk, I never worked with the Komodo team. Or Fat Fritz. Hammer exposing his own repertoire. Well, keep your cool. I think oh yeah, with the black pieces. I think the thing we did by playing through the video from the repertoire was very clever, actually. Because it also gives people a taste of what it's like if they want to buy it. But you were talking about this game. My bad. Friday hype. Yeah, Adro. I'm just looking at my to-do list and it's full. So Friday hype is going to be Saturday work for me. It's going to be an exciting final 2 days of the Fisher Random World Championships. Anyone paying attention to that? How does it compare to Leela then, Chess Turk? Sounds interesting. I don't really know anything about the Fat Fritz project. Magnus finally losing Galactic? Well, he was down against Karana as well. But he managed to come back and win that match. So seems so strong. Yeah, Adro, he's a decent player. Yeah, it was very exciting, Fool. Both games, both of Magnus's games were really like tactical and attacking chess. And then I mean, in the other final, in the bronze final, there were 2 decisive games as well. So like all 4 games were really exciting. You had the feeling So was lucky? Well, he put pressure on Magnus, and Magnus kind of caved. It looked as though Magnus was going to maneuver through the complications very well. And then after the worst of it had settled, after the queens were off the board, Magnus was still under pressure, but the computer was saying, with correct play, he should make a draw. He just blundered. Hey Dirk, how you doing? You're sick of Magnus winning all the time. Well, Galactic, we have a lot of Norwegian viewers who do not feel that way. So, yeah. We'll see how it goes. I think Magnus has still good chances to make a comeback. Ah, that's too bad, Casa. Hey, Vila. How you doing? Luck favors the stronger player on the day. Yeah, that's how it works. You make your own luck. Yeah, I saw the Dubov game. Full. It was really interesting. Also, his game the day before, even though it ended in a draw against Moisenko, was so good. He's had 2 really stunning games in a row. Ha! I'm glad to hear that, Hike. You should submit some games in the Hammer repertoire. Maybe you can win one of the prizes for a membership extension. Dubov, yes, he is the current world champion, Galactic. The world rapid champion. He also was a second for Magnus during the world championship match against Karana. Oh, 3 stunning games? What is the third game, Keep Your Cool? If he played yet another one in addition to those Moisenko and Svane, then I missed it. Svane, by the way, even though he's German, his family lives in Germany. His parents are Danish, and he speaks Danish. So he's got some of that Scandinavian swag to him. You're a big Dubov fan, Flo, but his best game has to come against Germany. Yeah, it feels bad, man. Germany was so close to defeating Russia, which was really impressive. Beating Russia is still a very tricky thing. Oh, he had a cool game against Biache as well? Well, now that you mention it, I remember Biache getting his king checkmated on h4. So yeah, he has had 3 amazing games. Huh. I guess he's using up all his powers. Switzerland actually stronger than Norway? I don't know if that's true, Galactic. Switzerland has like their best team and Norway has like their B team. That's my excuse for Norway losing that. Hey Gushi, how you doing? Where in the world are you now? Yeah, really groundbreaking some of the stuff Dubov has been showing full. It's a Russian B team? Yeah, that is true. But honestly, Russian B team, not really that much weaker than the Russian A team. Oh, they have so many strong players. Yeah, I'm too busy, Galactic. Also, I'm cutting down on my playing. 17 more days in China. Very good. Hey, Ulstan. Okay, we're continuing our talk on this game. But actually, after 94, Flo played knight c3, which I think is a mistake because it voluntarily gives you those doubled pawns in addition to making the a pawn isolated. If you're going to give yourself doubled pawns, at least go to the other side, because here you wouldn't get the isolated pawn. So this pawn structure is okay, whereas this pawn structure is not okay. And the difference is the pawn on a2, which becomes isolated. Without the a pawn, could be okay-ish, but with it, it's just a poor pawn structure. Gushy knows all the tricks, Flo. How am I cutting down on chess? Well, I just say no when people ask if I want to play. It's not that tricky. Although I have been saying yes to some things as well. I'll be playing a tournament in February. I think Mac Burnout, if I'm gonna relate to someone of the main cast in The Big Bang Theory, I definitely relate the most to Leonard, yes. I'm not sure Magnus is like Sheldon Cooper, though. I think Magnus is more like a Howard with Sheldon's brain. It's a weird mix. I think Magnus was taking things very seriously, Gushy. He just got outplayed. It happens. But he's gonna try to strike back, and there's still lots to play for. The score is 4.5, 1.5, and it's first to 12.5. I don't think it's gonna be. I think we're gonna have to go into blitz games to get this decided. Will you play Norway chess this year? No, I never get invited, Ostan. They stopped inviting local players beyond Magnus. Where am I playing in February? It's in Kragerø, Jake. It's this resort place on the Norwegian kind of south coast-ish. I don't know, Flo. I think that was pretty accurate. Okay, let's move on. D6, bishop a5. That sounds fine. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting my pieces out very nicely. And if he had taken this one, then I get to open up my F file. So I thought that was pretty nice. But regardless, I think d5 is a big mistake. Because it really opens up some diagonals I would like to use anyway. And it closes the diagonal for the bishop. So my opinion of this move, d5, I thought it was a big mistake. But actually, Flo managed to create some trouble later on. Because once he managed to go c4 and open up for this bishop pointing down the board, it felt a bit uncomfortable. I think I solved it nicely, though, with bishop d4. Making sure that the bishop never gets to have that awesome diagonal creating trouble. Also here, rook h3 was a big threat. Hey Abdul. How was the Yasser Sopiko meeting? Kaza, unfortunately, they had already left. I got to the chess pub at 11 p.m. and they had already gone home. Can you believe it? How was my experience playing world-class players? I think I got better at it, Ostan. I think my first Norway chess I scored 1.5 out of 9, which was horrendous by any measure. But the next time I got to play in 2015, I beat Magnus. I held my own. I was winning against Topalov. I was doing well against Maxim, against Anish. So it really is one of those things where your initial try is going to be you're going to be nervous, you're going to be inexperienced. But getting a second try and a third try and a fourth try, you just get better and better. Hey Alex, how are you doing? Owned Magnus. Yes, I did, Sparkly. Let's remind everyone. Anish the draw junkie, yeah, he managed to hold on to a draw. I had such a good position, but he's so good at defending. I also had a good position against Anish in Moscow in 2017. He managed to hold on there as well. He's a very difficult guy to beat. Hey, Bunkinator. I think you can try to become world champion. Actually, Austin, I was thinking about this the other day. I think I have graduated to the content creators of chess. And I think you right now is the equivalent of the people in Cypher PK's chat going like, oh, you can do it. You can be the world champion. And he's like, well, I can compete against the best of them. But realistically, there's just no chance of me actually winning like a world championship. But on a good day, I can hold my own. What was the tactic after Rook F4? I gotta admit, I did not see Rook F4. Okay, good eye. Good eye. Yeah, that would have been a problem. It's a very unusual way for the rook to join the party. Wow, yeah, that would have been bad. I guess I would have had to take this rook and take the bishop. I'm probably doing okay here because I have control over the open file and white's pawn structure is a bit ruined and my dark squared bishop is really good. So probably I'm doing okay here, but I did lose my queen. Good eye, keep your cool. Yeah, but the thing, Turk, is that against Karyakin, I struggle to get a good position. Against Anish, I'm getting good positions, but I'm not being able to convert it. I tried playing against Karyakin as well, and I just... The main difference compared to Anish is that I couldn't even get good positions. Alex, Seaman played the Norway chess the years I did not. So Seaman played in 2014. So I played in 13 and 15. He played in 14. And then Grandelius played in 16. Dirk, the best way to support the streamer kind of depends on the amount. So subscriptions are nice if you want to support the streamer the maximum compared to kind of percentages of what you're donating or paying. Then for like $10, the best is PayPal. But for like $2-3, the best is Bits. And the reason for that being a difference is that PayPal has quite a high take or fee on low amounts, and then it becomes a percentage after a while. Like $5 and less, I would say bits, and more than that, it's PayPal. If you want to make sure that the most of your donation is actually ending up in the streamer's hands. Are you saying the best way is with a high amount? Yes, absolutely, Alex. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Who's winning so far? We're looking at a Fool's game, a game Sequila. We just discovered that I blundered a queen against him and he didn't see it. So, yeah, that's pretty good news. And here we're just playing an endgame. I was pretty happy to get to play d takes e5 because it gives me some options along this diagonal for my queen. c5 somewhere was good for you? Wow, I find that pretty hard to believe. Okay, but I think we're beyond that point now. Because now we're just in an endgame, and I managed to trick him. So I managed to give myself... Yes, I've given myself doubled pawns, but there's just no way he can stop this pawn on a5. And we just push it all the way. Instead of taking the rook c5... Well, it can't be that rook. c5. If I take this one? That move makes no sense to me. Hey, CJ. How are you? Someone said that they were the biggest Norwegian fans of Karana, and I corrected that stuff immediately. I wasn't having any of that. Henki, I teach Botes a little bit, but I'm not offering coaching in general. I outed you? What are you talking about? Dirk, live long and prosper. Thank you so much for the $20 donation. Thank you so much. I shall prosper with your support. Rook takes and then bishop c4. Yeah, but I just go queen d6. I don't understand this variation flow. I didn't think I outed you as a Karana fan. I thought you were already outed, CJ. It's not like you're very shy about it in stream, on Twitter, in general. I just felt that people were trying to steal the recognition you deserved. And I corrected that. Okay, let's, yeah, I'm actually sick of this game. You can't really submit a game against me, fool. I mean, I already know this game. I've seen the game. I know that I played magnificently and you lost. What else is there to say? I activated my king. Good technique. And also I fetched the pawn. Because White's pawn got up the board quite a bit. But at this moment, it didn't have anyone to defend itself. So we had to say adios to that guy. And then Flo blundered another pawn as if it wasn't bad enough. And then he tried to flag me. Very cheeky guy. But having an extra queen, I checkmated him instead. And Nisha, we've been discussing the match a little bit, but we haven't actually talked about what our expectations are for today. I would say Magnus will try his best to equalize, but it's tricky. I think we saw yesterday that Wesley is a pretty decent player, and that winning a game is not something you can do on command, even when you are Magnus Carlsen. So I think Magnus is going to try his best to equalize the score. I think if he goes into the final day with a 6-6 score, he would be pretty happy, considering that he's now down by one game. And if he ends up being down 2 games from the slow rapid, it's going to be very, very tricky to come back from that. Because if Wesley has a 9-3 lead going into the final day, it's so significant. It's so many points. And I'm not sure that Magnus would be able to strike back from that. So I think for now, it's very important that Magnus doesn't end up losing the day today. I think if there's like 2 draws or a win each, that's okay. If Magnus manages to equalize, that's excellent. But it's very important that he stays within 3 points, within fighting distance. Thank you, CJ. I got a message last night from a guy I really respect who was like saying he was watching the broadcast and he thought it was really good. So feedback has been great on the VG, on my VG commentary. Okay, let's check out a next game. Let's take a look at Mikael. Mikael is our next candidate. If you want to submit a game, that is possible. And Mikael is one of those people who have submitted a game. And we're going to take a look at this. Wesley played insanely well. Yeah, he did good, Nisha. I don't think it's a close match at 7.5, 4.5. I think it still favors Wesley a little bit. So I mean, for Magnus, if he can equalize the match, then that would be a big success. Hey, big boy, how you doing? Oh, this is Pizza Racer's game. Very good. Well, I'm glad you're here at least when we're reviewing. Okay, E4. It's a Sicilian. And it's a Rosalimo. And the opponent goes A6. He doesn't know that Michael was willing to give up that bishop regardless. So let's see if he can use the same plans we normally would use in these positions. Okay, first thing I'm going to say is that this is very reminiscent of a line that's in the repertoire. So if black goes G6, we can play this way. And basically, the game position is as if black had played A6 on this move. What I recommend here, after like a more normal move like D6, is to build your center with C3 and D4. So, going back to this position, I would have the same recommendation here. Just build your center with C3 and then D4. And you can follow the same plans that are recommended in the lines I had on this Rosalimo with G6, even though he played a different move on move 3. The plans remain the same. Hammer will equalize. We'll see. He's a pretty good player. I think there's a decent chance he'll equalize the score. Okay, but e5 was played, and it's an interesting move because this prevents black from getting the knight to the f6 square. However, actually in this opening, sometimes the knight goes to h6, and when you go e5, there's an additional reason to put your knight on the edge, because continuing, you can play knight f5, and the knight actually gets a really good location here. So even though you prevented the knight from coming to f6, you did give the knight an opportunity to go to an even better square on f5. Chess pawn. If Magnus loses the next World Chess Championship, he will have to re-qualify through the candidates tournament. But he will be an automatic qualifier to that candidate tournament, to the World Championship qualifier. Haha, Sly nice guy. I'm sorry on behalf of your employer. No. My apologies to your employer that I am streaming during work hours. I think that's the one I meant. How likely do you think he is to qualify for the match if he loses? Honestly, Alex, if Magnus loses a World Championship match, I think the chance of him qualifying through the candidates are roughly the same as the chances of him winning a World Championship match. So like 70 or 75%. But on the other hand, maybe we've been underestimating Magnus's chances to win, right? Because we've been holding him at like a 70% favorite, or at least I have, for 4 matches now. And there has been some iffy spots, but overall he's been pretty confident in winning the matches. And already winning 4 matches means that he's already at 80%, even if he loses the next one. So maybe in reality his chance is even higher than 70, which goes far beyond chess ratings. It goes more to the fact that he's just the strongest player, and the strongest player is going to have the best chance to win regardless of what the rating says. And the ratings are just a measurement of how good you do compared to others. But at the same time, in a match, he only needs to win 1 game more than his opponent. And maybe that changes the math in a different way. Magnus will be super focused after the loss, like nothing we've seen before. Yeah, well, Magnus has a tendency of striking back after losing. Keep your cool. Black looks like the hammer bullet setup with g6, bishop g7, e6, knight e7. Yeah, big boy. And that's not a good strategy. And Mikhail takes good advantage of that. Because e6 is a horrendous move. Really big positional mistake. Partly because it further blocks in this bishop. But more so, it's about these squares on d6 and on c5. And Mikhail goes for those squares with his knight immediately and actually fetches the pawn on d5. So that was very good. c4, I also like this move. Very nice move. Because you have a dark squared bishop. And when you have a dark squared bishop, you often want to use your pawns to control light squares. And amongst other, it takes out the d5 square, which the black knight would like to use. However, yeah, I'm not sure about d4, because I would put the pawn on d3 to have that white squared control. But you had to do something about the attack on the knight. So maybe I would prefer... Nah, you kind of have to go d4. Okay, it's all good. We protected the pawn that was attacked. Ooh, d5. That's a very interesting move. Because now it becomes tricky for white to decide whether you want to take en passant or whether you want to take this one. Maybe even the best move is to go like bishop g5. and just do a counterattack and get your knight to f6 with some threats. Bishop g5 looks interesting. Okay, so d5, you chose to take. I really think black should take with the queen here, just to create that attack towards the pawn on d4. And also for the potential of having a good square on d5. Because this is now one of those outpost positions where you cannot be chased away with a pawn. Yeah, keep your cool. I don't know. Fabi had a really good year, and Magnus didn't have a great year before their match, and Magnus still won. But, yeah. I don't think they played very well in that match, though. Neither one of them. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people say that they played like the highest level in a world championship for a long time. I just don't agree. I think they played pretty poorly. Rude? Yeah. Criticizing is always rude, huh, CJ? But it doesn't mean it's false or untrue. How about a match where four top players are allowed to discuss among themselves and come up with the moves against Magnus? I think, Alex, you will find that very often having discussions among a lot of different players and having someone decide what to do on behalf of a team, much trickier than being solo. Okay, so I think Fabiola did a good job of activating the bishop and getting some play on the queen side. However, he should have protected the pawn on a4. So here after queen b5, black actually has decent compensation for a pawn with the bishop pair and some good squares. Yeah, way too many cooks. Nice guy. Yeah, and also Nisha, the match could have been almost over if Magnus had just converted the big advantage he had with black in the first game. I feel like they both had so many chances. Who's going to win the rugby tomorrow? I don't really know rugby, big boy. But I heard that England defeated New Zealand, who's supposed to be amazing. So not knowing anything else and also knowing that you're English, I'm going to go with England is going to win it. Okay, we'll rush through this because there was a blunder. Fabiola just gave away the bishop. And Mikael was not. He had everything protected. Wow. That was kind of a rush of unfortunate events. But Mikael, with his centralized pieces, had made sure that everything was protected. And so there was no problem just picking up all the pieces and getting the win. I really liked your e5 move. I think that was not the e5 move. How you after e6 punished it by immediately moving your knight to target the weak squares that arose as a consequence of black's e6 move, which was a mistake. So knight c3 to e4, getting that centralization and winning the pawn on c5. That for me was the highlight. I'm doing game analysis, Hoisin. We're having a competition for the people using the Hammer Repertoire. If you don't know what it is, you need to check it out. It's a video series where I recommend a complete repertoire based on 1E4. Use code HAMMER if you buy it. Oh, you're Welsh, big boy. Feels bad, man. Is England playing against Wales? Do you prefer C3 instead of pushing E5? Yes, Pizza Racer. I think that's better. Because here, your pawn is on a light square, which is good. Because you've given away your light squared bishop. You don't really want to give away more light squared control. You want to keep at least one guy on the light squares. So I would rather build up in the center with C3 and then maybe D4. Get a position like this. Just harmonious development. Pawns in the center, knights supporting, bishop in the middle. Something like this. Wales lost to New Zealand. What are you going to do? So I guess, big boy, you're cheering for whomever England is playing because they knocked out Wales, and you'd rather be playing against get knocked out against the first place finisher than the second. South Africa. Yeah, I don't really know enough about rugby to know who's the favorite in that matchup. You already asked that question, Hosen. I answered your question. You said, that's really boring. And then you asked the question again. Which, honestly, when you're repeating the questions, I find that to be pretty boring, sir. Okay, moving on to the next game. We have, let's see, Hiataman submitting his game against Hammer. I refuse to look at that on general grounds. And then we have Jam Snacker with a game. Okay, let's see what happened here. Jam Snacker with the white pieces is disqualified on move 2. Oh my gosh. That is outrageous. D3. It's an insult to everyone watching the stream. Not taking any kind of fighting for the center. Immediately blocking the bishop out. This is very disappointing. Aquila, I'm fixing the point system. Just save your points. It's gonna be interesting soon. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I have a very big to-do list. Everyone save their hammers. Their hammer points. Maybe Twitch is going to make some good, cool new features as well. I'm not analyzing random games now. I'm analyzing games that have been submitted to our competition. Use the command !competition for more details. Early disqualification on move 2. Yeah, but we're not having any of this. This is not the hammer repertoire. And if anything, it goes against everything the hammer repertoire is supposed to signify. We're supposed to fight for the center, attack, get the pieces out, castle. D3 does none of the above. Wow, chat now is just boasting who has the more hammers. Yeah, we're disqualifying this man. We're moving on. Let's see, we have Big Boy's game. And he's in chat. So that feels like a good occasion to do it. Let's take a look. Okay. E4. Okay, so far so good. Big Boy knowing the repertoire. I don't know if a system for exchange exists, Nisha. I don't think you can pay people in hammers just yet. We're still missing that infrastructure. Think of it as early bitcoins. They have enormous value, yet you can't really use it for anything. Its value only derives from other people believing that it's the great new thing in the world. I'm just waiting for chat to hear what I just said, and there's surely some kind of Bitcoin enthusiast who will come to the defense of the Bitcoins. It's like money but worthless. Yes, Perpetual. Let's keep provoking the Bitcoin people in chat. Let's see if we can get them, lure them out here. $50,000 hammers, a visit to the Hammer B&B. That sounds fair, Dirk. Of course it's completely accurate, Nisha. I mean, I am a very smart man with an economist background-ish. Ooh, Bishop E2. Did you mouse select, Big Boy? Bishop B5 is what we like to do. Yeah, 5 bitcoins? That's quite a bit, Pizza Racer. Does he still have like the passwords and the thingies? Another early disqualification? Yeah, but on the other hand, you're here. So I don't know. We might not disqualify you depending on how you continue. Okay, this is good. C3 and D4. Building your center. I approve. You got your pieces out. You castled early. You didn't really go for the hammer repertoire moves, but you're going with the philosophy. That's something. Kaza, honestly, we could do stuff like that. Like for some outrageous amount, we could do some like Skype lessons. Sounds fair. Also, like the raids and stuff like that. One of the reasons I'm hesitant to add such things is that I don't really feel like I understand how many hammers people have and how quickly they gain them. So in order for something to be like really unique and special, I also need to have a feel for how difficult it is to earn that amount. Okay, getting the pieces into the center, developing everything. I approve, Big Boy. So far, perfect game. Perfect game. Okay, guy takes your pawn. Okay, that's a bit weird. And you didn't take back. That's also a bit weird. I think maybe here I would ignore this kind of aggression. There's no need to open up around your own king. I would try to just play rook c1 and point the rook down towards the opponent's queen. That looks pretty good to me. No, but that's what I'm saying, Perpetual. I'm saying that if I do something like that, it has to be correctly priced. And I cannot really add such things until I understand what is the correct price. You know? Yeah, no, Aquila, I hear you guys. I'm saying it's going to be ridiculously expensive. I'm just saying that we can do that if the pricing is right. And I haven't really added it yet because I haven't decided or understood what would be the correct pricing. You have a feeling I'll regret the reward point system? We'll see. Yeah, okay, that's a fair point, Perpetual, that a lot of people may reach that threshold at the same time. But I mean, yeah. If you've managed to get like 1,000,000 hammers, you're kind of deserving. Paco auto-commenting? Yeah. Casa, I was supposed to send a message to them. I'll add another thing on my to-do list. Chess 24 auto-commentary. Inquiry, I guess we'll call it. Yes, Nisha, it's possible to have a cooldown. But normally I think the cooldown is just one per stream. I'm not sure you can do it like per week or something like that. What are these hammer coins for? We haven't really decided yet, Chess Daddy. We think they will have enormous value in the future, so we recommend just holding on to them. No, I don't have any merch, Lexa. Who's the top 3 male and female chess players in Norway at the moment? Airhead. Don't mention the war. We need ham merch. Yeah. That's a pretty good combination, Casa. Hammerch. The top 3 is Carlson, Tari, and Hammer. The top 3 females is... I don't really know. I think it's like Sheila, Koskela, and... Yeah, I don't really know. You can search it up. It's on the World Chess Federation websites. Will you stream your chess games today? No, we're just reviewing games. Okay, big boy, I would play rook c1, pointing against the queen. Let's see what happened. G3, good move. Don't let your pawn structure get ruined by taking this pawn. And also this pawn kind of gives your king shelter, because it's impossible for him to open up the rook's file down towards your king if you just tuck the king behind his pawn. His pawn is just going to interrupt his attack. So that was good. D5, that's a free pawn. Should have taken that. King H2, you're doing the king blockading thing. Takes, good stuff. E5, D5. Your pieces are so well centralized. You're absolutely annihilating this man. Rook C1, good move. Pointing towards the queen. Queen retreats. Now it's just about getting more pieces into the attack. And F4 is a great way of doing so, because then your rook gets in, pointing down towards the opponent's king. Knight F6, take on E5. This is magnificent. Absolutely crushing. Knight F6 was a bit inaccurate, because here you can play Knight D6. Knight D6, the king has to move, and then you can start capturing on F7, probably with the knight. Attacking the queen, attacking the rook. It's a complete collapse. And then look at how, notice how all of Big Boy's pieces are very centralized. Pawns in the middle and all the pieces in the middle. Whereas Black's pieces are kind of like shattered around on the edges of the board. So centralizing your pieces do pay off all the time. Also developing your pieces, right? Because Black's rooks and bishop and queen still in their initial positions. Didn't really work out. E takes F6. I think this is a pretty significant mistake. Or it feels wrong, at least, to me. Because you want to get your rook involved. So you want to take back with your rook and have it point down towards the squares close to Black's king. Whereas when you take with a pawn, now you block that open file for your rook, and it becomes much less effective. Okay, queen develops. Yes, get your queen in there. That king is not going to survive White's queen joining the party. Here, though, queen e4 was a better move. Because then you can use your bishop to force the king to the edge. And then your queen is going to give checkmate on g7. And what happened in your variation when you played queen e5 is that bishop check wouldn't have been able to do the same thing because you cannot go queen g5. So here the big difference was where to put your queen so that it could get involved when the king ran to the king side. Queen gives a check. There's a trade. Yes, rook f4. You got to bring more pieces into the attack. And that's what finished the game. Getting the rook in there together with the queen. And it's a checkmate on Black's king. A triumph of centralizing your pieces, getting your pawns in the center, and developing quickly. You really followed the principles of the Hammer repertoire, but not so much on the moves. But honestly, principles are just as important in the opening. And so long as you develop your pieces and get your pawns in the center, that's going to take you a long way. How do you send a non-Chess24 game? Perpetual, put it in the analysis tool, Chess24's analysis tool, and then I can review it. I've made a scene for the analysis tool. Hey, Pawn Grubber. You're welcome, big boy. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Has a candidate for us for review. Hey, Bloby. Okay, 2,500 rated. When you're that high rated, there is an expectation that you actually know the opening recommendations Let's check it out. E4, hammer repertoire style, the Spanish opening. And the opponent goes knight f6. Knight f6 and then bishop c5. Actually, someone pointed out in the comments section that I had neglected to review this line. But honestly, I have never seen this before in my life. This move order where you get the bishop out after you've kind of gone for the Berlin. It's kind of strange. But I'm pretty sure I double checked it, and this actually was not included in the Repertoire series. I would think something like rook e1 is a pretty decent move. Anyway, c3 and d4 is what I said. In the bishop c5 section, I said basically all the time we go c3 and d4. And so did nice to meet you. And then e5, attacking the knight, and then taking back on d4. Perfect execution of the opening. Black is completely busted. Completely busted. White has control in the center. The knight, the pieces are just stuck in the corners. The bishop is yet to be developed. A very, very good start for white. And knight c3 just developing. Bishop g5. Look at this. White just getting the pieces into place so much quicker than black. And after f6, I really feel like taking this guy was so tempting. I'm surprised he didn't take this. Because now if you move your knight into the game, then you sacrifice your bishop, but your pawn ends up just capturing all the black pieces, including a rook on f8. And if you take here, you cannot really take back, because then the bishop gets the knight for free. So what are you going to do here? You got to play something like queen d7, which is not great. Yeah, 5-card draw. This is the Hammer Repertoire on the video series on Chess24. I personally, I recommend it. I put a lot of work into it. I think it's really good. And also being a d4 player, even it could be interesting for you if to check what is recommended against your black lines. But also it could be interesting just to learn a new opening and have like a backup that no one knows about that you can surprise an opponent with. Bloby coming in with the 7-month resub. Thank you so much. And also Pawn Grubber pointing out that after queen d7, there's d5, winning the knight on c6. This is just game over. Outclassed by the Hammer Repertoire in 13 moves. Feels bad, man. A modern football player should be able to shoot with both feet. Yeah, that's a good analogy. 5-card draw. Honestly, at the top level, everyone is playing every opening. You will see them change between c4, d4, and e4 quite frequently. Oh, Aquila saw it first? Oh, I missed it. Sorry, Aquila. Okay, so this was just annihilation. Though bishop takes h6 was a mistake. e6 as the follow-up was very interesting. The point is that if bishop takes, then there's a fork with the knight and bishop being attacked by the pawn. However, whenever you make a move like this, it's also kind of risky. Because there's a chance your opponent could trap this pawn long term. For instance, d5. And if rook e1, then rook e8. And it's difficult to protect this pawn. Sometimes you become too fancy trying to win in style. So I'm not sure about this. It felt much easier just to capture on f6. The queen was really stuck in those variations. Anyway, knight e7 was played. d5 was the follow-up. And black now has that ruined pawn structure on the king side. And a tricky time defending against it. Ooh, queen g5, big blunder. Big blunder, e7. The discovered check against the king. Taking the rook, and everything just falls apart. Oh, you like playing against the Sicilian 5-card draw. That's interesting. Because I really want to play 1e4. It's just that I cannot find anything good against the Sicilian. Something I'm comfortable with. So if not for the Sicilian, I would be playing e4 all the time. Yeah, I think that's the right format, Perpetual. We'll check it out when we get to the analysis games. Likes playing against the Sicilian, burn him. Well, there's like tactical players who like to play against the Sicilian Aquila. But for myself, who is not a very tactical kind of person, then that doesn't really work out great. Okay, actually, we've made it. We've made it to the analysis board shows, the games. So let's see if my new layout can cope with this. So if I now click analysis board, does this look good? It looks pretty good, I gotta say. Yeah, Flo, we accept over the board games as well, but you have to put it into the analysis tool like Perpetual has done here. Okay, so e4. Really? Yeah, I mean, I never really learned a good variation against the Sicilian as a kid, 5-card draw, and maybe that's what's making me still stuck. Not having the experience when I was improving, playing those kind of Sicilian positions. Not quite sure it's the Hammer repertoire, but it's the best game you've ever played. Wow. Best game Perpetual has ever played. He's really setting the bar here. Perpetual submission should be for November's competition. You make a fair point, Pizza Racer. Let's first see what he brings to the table. Yeah, that's fair, Sufi. Bishop g5 is a pretty good move. But at the top level, all the Najdorf players know all the theory. And it's been extensively analyzed. I just want an opening where I can get some positional play and trick the opponent, outplay the opponent. Okay, I usually hate my neighbors' taste in music, but now they just started playing Coldplay, so it's okay. Analysis is the death of exciting chess. I don't know about that, Dirk, because we just saw Dubov making novelties in on move 5 in really common openings. So sometimes the computers just they hinder our creativity because we get too obsessed with what the computer is saying instead of making our own fun on the board. I don't know if they have Botes's playlist, Casa, but it's better than the song they played previously. There was an evening they played Husa Helicopter, which will be unfamiliar for most of you, but just know that it translates to Pink Helicopter, and it's not magnificent music. We have some Norwegians in chat who will know this Husa Helicopter song. And I think they will agree with me that it's not the best Norway has to offer. Announcing to the internet that you're okay with Coldplay is a daring strategy. I don't think so, QVD. I think a lot of people are cool with Coldplay. It might be one of the reasons they're like top 5 bands in the world. Pink Helicopter sounds great, says Jake. Okay, we will find the song for you. Copy a link, right? Life will guide you home and ignite your bones. Favorite Coldplay song? That's a good question, Alexa. That is the kind of questions we're looking for. So Clocks I really like because I really like the piano. I also think that the Yellow is pretty good, but Violet Hill also amazing. So I would say it's probably between Clocks because I really like the piano play and Violet Hill. I know to stay away from all the big hits, because then I become a cliche. Super Saiyan, I watched for way too long, until like 2 a.m. But up until 2 a.m., it was not very impressive. I think she was down like 6-2. How did it end up in the end? Also, I'm still waiting for Jake's response to the Husa Helicopter song. I posted the link in chat, Jake. Okay, we're looking at some chess. I only have 1 more hour until I gotta prepare for my Fisher Random Chess broadcast. I think actually we've timed this really well. We have like 4 more games to review. The ratio was 3-1. It's not good, Super Saiyan. It's not good. She missed a couple of one-movers tactics. I think we're going to have a chat about tactics. It's kind of... Attacking play is her strong suit. But there's an important difference between attacking play and tactics. It's two kind of... It's related, but it's not the same. And if she just started, capturing the opponent's pieces whenever people gave her free stuff, which is all the time, by the way, then she would just start winning so many more games. We're talking about Botes, Crow. I'm doing some coaching. That's fine music for kids. But Jake, the people in the apartment downstairs are not kids. Can we agree on that? They're 25-year-old students who use this song as their Vorspiel hype. That's not okay. Radiohead and U2 is kind of before my time, I feel. 5-card draw. I think I like one of the U2 songs. I just forget its name. I never heard anything of Radiohead, I believe. Don't they hear you yelling in the mic? I don't know, Dirk. Clearly not. Yeah, Beautiful Day. That's a good one. I probably have heard something by Radiohead, but I don't know that it's Radiohead, Alex. Eagles song? It's the one, they only have that one song, no? You guys, it turns out I'm actually kind of young. I'm liking this direction Chad is taking. Turns out I'm too young for some of this stuff. Creep? I don't really know that. I mean, maybe I've heard it. I'm 29, Crow. But I started listening to music a bit late. I've definitely heard it. Okay. I'll trust you. Radiohead is what Coldplay wants to be when they grow up. Oof, that's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh, Lance. In 2 months, Hammer will have lived through 4 decades, 2 centuries, and 2 millenniums, and not even be 30 yet. Yeah. I'm a very talented man. I'm very good at calculating the optimal birth year. Okay, Crow. I will check out Creep after this the stream. I will make you that promise. I like it when chat becomes intensely about an interesting topic, but music is one of those where I really don't have a clue. We can discuss the world, politics of the world, history of the world. There's so many things we can discuss that I have a pretty good basic understanding of. But 90s and 80s music is not one of them. Yeah, I listened to Green Day, Lexa. It was the favorite band of a friend of mine when I was growing up. Do you play any other games beside chess? I don't know what you consider games, 5-card draw. But if you check out my schedule, !schedule, I will be actually playing a different game with Botes on Tuesday. We're doing a late night stream with Civilization. It's very exciting. I also play Fortnite. Because apparently that's what you do when you do Twitch. I play yeah, that's my main games. Checkers, not so much, Dirk. Minesweepers, yeah, we should do more Minesweepers, Hyata man. I was starting a trend. Botes getting civilized, yeah, that will be interesting. Donnie, that's rough. When is the Civ stream? It's Tuesday night. So it's like Wednesday at 1 a.m., I think. We'll probably start like 1 a.m. or 12:30. We're going to have to play at a really high speed though. Because it's just going to be an introduction. I remember I once did a full playthrough on stream. And like I knew I was going to win in like 7 hours. And then I had to spend another 15 hours after that just to complete the game. But we got the win in the end. Up and coming Fortnite star in the making. Yeah, thanks, Pizza Racer. Hey, Nick, how you doing? You have a floppy disk with Civ 1? Wow. There's probably people in chat, Nisha, who doesn't know what a floppy disk is. I am actually old enough for that. I am old enough. When I was 11 years old, I was sitting on my dial-up connection. I want to do that sound, but I don't remember it anymore. Oh man. Honestly, we're going to do that on YouTube. I don't do copyrighted music, but the dial-up sound, that we're going to... That's the one. Okay, I'm not sure we had that much interference afterwards, but the brings back memories, huh? And then sometimes I would forget to disconnect, and we would have an enormous phone bill. But you know, my chess addiction, those were the days. I had to get that chess fix on the internet. No, I probably don't know that, Jake. Oh, you played on X site? I don't know that site, Nisha. I played on Chessnet. I played on basically any server I could find. I played on MSN. That was my initial one, and then I started playing on ICC. I also played on Fix. I played on chess.net, but there was another one as well. I forget. Your parents tried explaining floppy disks to you. It's basically a CD. Do you know what a CD is, Alexa? Tokens for the jukebox. Thank you so much, Casa, for the 100 bits. I will make sure to check out Creep. I don't remember my Fix handle, Hyataman. It's a long time ago. Yahoo had chess? Yeah, I didn't play on Yahoo. I played on MSN, but the MSN thing, people had a hack where they could move like several pieces in a row. So sometimes you would just lose automatically because people would hack the system and make like 5 moves in a row and checkmate you before you could do anything. Loaded up computer games with a cassette. Wow. That is different level. Yaniv, I recommend bishop b5 check against the Sicilian and the Spanish main alliance against e5. It's really good. It's been really well received. It's aimed at players at about, like 1200 to 2000. It's not meant to be an amazing kind of... It's not meant to be a cutting edge repertoire. It's just meant to give you a good foundation to build on for the middle game. With sound play, quick developments, getting your king into safety, and avoiding some of the tricky specialized lines your opponents may have prepared. Nice way of selling yourself. Well, the thing is, 5 card draw, you never know what the strength of people are. So if Yaniv is like a 2800 chess 24 rated player, then he might not find it super interesting. So it's more of a disclaimer than anything. The chess 24 video library is mostly aimed at people who's at a very high level, who's like competing in tournaments on a regular basis. So I want to make sure that people understand that this is an attempt to be a bit different than what already exists. I don't think I've ever been at Trolltunga. Yeah, the answer to that is no, I have not, world champ. Does the hammer repertoire cure male pattern boldness? No. Well, actually, you don't really know, Nick. Because I'm now 29 years old. And when my dad was 29, he was starting to bold. And he had completely gray hair. He got gray hair at like 22 or something. So, I mean, I don't want to rule out that playing chess and playing my opening has somehow cured me, because my genes were not good, and yet here I am with amazing hair. So, it could. I don't want to say no. I want to say there's a possibility. You have a few gray hairs, Kasa? Well, I do too. Not even a few. My sister really likes pointing out all the gray hair I have, but it's not so visible just yet. If you're a grandmaster, the genes were okay at least. Yeah, no, the brain stuff I had pretty good genes for. Not so much the rest. Oh man, 5-card draw. I'm sorry to hear that. You take after your grandfather on your mother's side? Oh, that's nice, Aquila. He died at age 40. Best news all day, huh, Aquila? Well then, yeah, that's what I'm saying. 40 minutes left to review games. Yeah, we'll make it happen, Pizza Racer. No, I'm streaming the Fisher Random Finals in Norwegian. BG tip. I'm streaming on the biggest Norwegian net newspaper. But it's very reminiscent of a Twitch stream. I don't do my own tech stuff, so I have a producer fixing all the microphone buttons and switching the camera feeds and so on. I'm basically just a commentator. I'm in this little 1 by 2 meter booth. So it's essentially like being a soccer commentator. Fisher Random starts at 5:30. Blue Crocs. It's in 2.5 hours. Okay, let's review. You need a crash course in Norwegian. Yeah, honestly, it's a good skill to have. That's the wrong one. Sorry, I made a new layout. This is the one. Let's review Perpetual's amazing best ever game. Did he play the Hammer repertoire though? That's a big question. Oh, he just wanted. Oh, okay. I get how it is. He just wanted to showcase his best ever game. Disqualified, sir. The jury has ruled. This game is disqualified. He just wanted to show a game he was proud of. This is not the Hammer repertoire. Shame on you, sir. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Let's see. Here, the Big Chess Theory has a game. Show it fast. It's amazing. Oh, okay. So far, so good. Yes. Controlling the center, getting the pieces. Yes, I agree. This is good play. Getting the pieces out. Getting good squares for your pieces. Yes. I started getting a suspicion around move like 18. And then it got confirmed. And now he realized, yes. I was a bit late, I will agree. That was a bit late. Took me some time. Okay, I'll show it, I guess, for most people who don't get the reference. This is a very famous game. It's Kasparov against Topalov or Shirov. I forget which one, but Kasparov with the white pieces. Won an amazing game. Rook takes d4. Pretty good move. Rook e7 check. It's pretty amazing. If queen takes, then there's a checkmate coming up here. So king had to move up the board. And then it became all kinds of problematic. Rook a7 also creating a checkmate threat. And then rook sacrifices itself. Incredible. And the idea is that if you take, then checkmate. So the queen tries to join the party. Okay, according to the computer, black could have made a draw here. I thought this was supposed to be... I don't know if the computer's right though. I thought the sacrifice was supposed to be like correct objectively. Okay, I don't know. Computer's saying that Shirov could have gotten away with it, or Topalov. Yeah, so it ended up being checkmate in cool fashion. Rook d7 is also a pretty cool move. Queen is attacked, you go rook d7, divert the rook, then you take the queen, and the rook is still hanging on h8. If the rook was not hanging here on h8, then black would still be better. So the tactics were very crucial all the way. Anyway, long story short, I really should have understood what was going on before I did. So knight d5, that's where I stopped and decided that I recognize this. But I feel like I should have caught on to it earlier. Okay, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next one. And we have the big chess theory with the game. Oh, this session is private. Oh, man. Feels bad, man. Let's see if we can do it in full screen. Yeah. It says this session is private, but you have unlocked a mini game. So I guess we'll play the mini game. Oh man. I forgot all about where the different... So was that the... No? I know I've seen that queen. No, they have their arms in a different direction. Feels bad, man. This is the most frustrating game ever. So many minor variations. That queen I've seen before. No. That queen I've seen before. Okay, we're getting there. Oh man. Okay. Well done. I thought Grandmasters had good memories. Yeah, but there's such... The differences between the characters were so minor. Like, if their arms were up or down, and the colors... I don't know, I thought that was pretty tricky. Wow, everyone is saying I'm terrible. I will have you know that in some of the like memory stuff for online games, there's this one test. I forget what it's called, but I scored insanely well for memory. It's some kind of learning game that tests memory. I forget what it's called. Human benchmark? Yeah, I think this is it. The human benchmark. I think I scored insanely well on this. Forgetting what the memory game is called. Yeah, that too, Andy. Bye, Aquila. Have a good day. Okay, we're going to go to Edward's game. I think, yeah, Edward has a game. Let's hope he also has made it public. Yes. Edward knows how to submit a game. Let's go to the analysis board. Are you the one who hits the hammer in Leitau's building? I didn't realize he was having the same problem. Actually, World Champ, I am having the same problem. There's some person hammering in some floors below mine. I didn't know it was a thing a lot of streamers had to deal with. Yeah, I get that strategy, 5 card. Grandmaster's memory usually limited to chess. Honestly, I'll show you that. We'll do that human benchmark thing afterwards. Is it the one with the reaction test? Yeah, but I scored horrendously in the reaction. A lie. Oh, actually, we probably lost our entire audience because now they're doing the visual memory test. That's what happens when you bring stuff like that up. Okay, we're reviewing chess games. This is Edward's submission. And he played... Okay, he went knight c3, which is not the hammer repertoire, but he continued with bishop b5 afterwards. So we'll cut him some slack, and we'll see if he developed his pieces quickly. Yes, he did. He castled, yes, and then put pawns in the center. Okay, that's pretty good. I approve. I approve very much. Look at this. So getting the rook into the center, getting the bishops out is a good start. And a6 was a mistake from black because now Edward was allowed to push in the center, playing e5, exploiting the fact that black has not castled the king just yet. And after takes, now moving the knight will allow the exchange of bishops. And the exchange of bishops will reveal that there are a lot of very weak dark squares in the position. Yeah, CP, I'll do that afterwards. We're just gonna finish. This is the last game I think we have to review. I'll double check that, by the way. I think this is our last game review. So we'll do the memory test after. Yeah, so good dark squared control. And now potential maybe also for attacking chances towards black's king. Yes, knight e4. I was honestly waiting for that move. You really need to get more pieces towards the king side. And black decides to be greedy, going after the pawn on b2. Now black is up a pawn with a much better pawn structure. But there's some potential for white to create an attack. Rook d2, interesting. Queen, yeah, queen just gets stuck. Queen gets stuck on the queen side, not really doing much over there. And Edward gets a very nice finish to the game. Knight f6 check. If the king moves, then queen takes h7 is checkmate. So you need to take this knight. And then he just takes back with the double threat of queen h6 followed by queen g7, but also with the threat of knight g5. And actually the computer says there's no way to stop checkmate in 4 moves. So for instance, if you go queen b2, which prevents queen h6 because then the queen gets back into defense, then white has knight g5. And there's no way to stop queen h7 happening on the next move. So that was a good attack there from Eddie, who unfortunately is not in chat right now. I want to see you doing the test you shared. Oh, okay, yeah. I guess I opened the door to that. And also I don't like people saying I'm bad at stuff. Which may have provoked me into to going for this. Okay, so does it... Does it become bigger than this? Is this like a mobile thing? I guess we'll just do like this. Do we have a scene we can use for this? I think we gotta make a new scene. Name of new scene. Rando website thingies. It becomes entirely black, and then we gotta build it up. So first, we'll add our background color. Color source, add source. Okay, so now we have our background. Then we need to add hammer. That sounds fair. Video capture device. Add. We'll put that somewhere. We'll do the event list. Look at this, people. Professional streamer, by the way. Building it up from scratch. This is how we do it. Have the event list. Yes, very good. We'll pop a Chess24 logo in here, just in case we go viral with my amazing memory skills. Because we're good with branding, stuff like that. Please don't. I want you to be in the middle. Please do not auto place. Okay, we're getting there. And now, next step is getting the browser window capture. Well, it's kind of this one. Yeah, let's just do that one. Then we gotta move it in. Do you think this is the most important field? Probably I can make it even smaller, right? Do you think it increases? We'll find out soon enough. And then we gotta add finally the alert box in case someone decides to subscribe while we're doing this. Let's move this a little bit to the right, to the left. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. I'm happy with that. How are you feeling, chat? Pro streamer? Who has won the Norwegian Championship the most? It's a guy you probably have never heard about. Berge Østenstad. He's a grandmaster. He's a solid guy, but it's a bit surprising. You're triggering your OCD. But it's okay, I think, ICP. It's okay. It increases, but the tiles get smaller. Yeah, that was my impression. I did a test round just to fix it, check it out. GM also stands for Memory Genius. We'll see. Use keyboard arrows to move more precisely. I didn't know that was a thing, even, Chesteroid. I'll keep that in mind for future. Remove the white line at the bottom of the browser window. I don't think there is one. No, I think it's fine. I had seen something along the lines of Magnus becoming a part owner of Chess24. Is that true? Asks Marvin. Yes. So Magnus has an ownership stake in Play Magnus, which is a company making, amongst other things, the Magnus Trainer app and the Play Magnus app for mobile. And their company, that company, merged slash acquired Chess24. And they also acquired Chessable. So they're building an empire. Siddharth, for more information, I've made a command for that. So I'm working with that Play Magnus company. There is a line? I don't see it. Oh, that's pretty. I can see your aggression. I think that fixed it. That is human benchmark. So, Slemon, someone in chat said that my memory sucks. And as to disprove that, I will now show them that my memory is amazing. There's no 4-player chess on Chess24. No, a lie. That was you saying my memory sucks? Yes, and I am about to disprove you. Hammer triggered, absolutely. Okay, so I'm just going to refresh this page because I started it to test it. And then rando web page thingies coming up. Okay, we're doing it. But the thing is, now I kind of have to focus. I can't really be reading chat when doing this. So you guys be the judge of what my memory is like. But also keep in mind that this is about patterns. I mean, one thing is memory, but it's also about patterns. Oh man, I missed one. Did I lose a life by missing one? Also, I didn't pay attention to the next one. I lost my concentration. I lost my concentration. Because I missed one. And that completely interrupted my concentration. Man, I lost a life there. Okay, we're going to redo after this. Because that doesn't count. My memory isn't that bad. Oh, come on. I swear I do much better on my own. Chat is completely messing me up. This is all your fault, chat. Oh, man. Okay. Last time I took this, I was top like 1%. I don't know what happened. Thank you so much, Jitro. Respectable. I was level 17 previously. I don't know what happened right now. Chat was disruptive. Do it again? Yeah, of course I'm doing it again. What are you talking about? That was like the worst score I have ever gotten in this game. It is kind of hard, Insanity. I feel like I wasn't properly focused. It was actually a pretty quick game. So we'll redo it. We'll redo it and I'll completely ignore you. Link to the game? Yeah, we can get you that. This is the new Puzzle Rush. Yeah, Super Saiyan. You failed your driving test because of chat? Yeah, I can imagine. Keeping up with chat while driving is, I believe, illegal even. That's how distracting it is. Okay, I'm doing it. Oh my god, I failed that? Maybe I've just gotten older. Maybe I've just gotten much worse at this. I swear to God I'm supposed to be good at this. Is it there or is it there? Okay, turns out, chat, my memory is not that great. I swear I got top 1 percentile previously. I don't know what's going on. Degrading brain, yeah, that's what's happening, Andy. Very triggered. Honestly, Andy, there's this game I played, Puzzle Pirates, where there's this carpentry skill that has some shapes similar to the shapes in this test. So I think that's one of my main references. Back when I was 2700, I was top 1%. Gyataman, I was top 1% in January of this year. I remember Botes doing this on stream, and then I got addicted. Try verbal memory? No, that's boring, Slemon. Because then I stay here forever. I remember doing verbal memory before, and it was... I had to wait for so long. It took forever. Okay, we're doing the verbal memory. Sensualities? I don't think so. Oh man. Pathways? I don't think so. Okay, I remember doing this previously, and my scores were way, way higher. Maybe we've discovered one of my problems. Maybe I'm having some kind of memory leakage. I'm having some kind of memory leakage. See, let's do the save and see how I rank. Top 17%. I'm really sure I got more than 90 previously. Maybe I'm just making things up, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I got more than 90 previously. We're gonna do that again. Time for an MRI? Yeah, maybe. Let's hope it's not contagious. What is this site? It's we have a link here. Human benchmark star nebula. More than 90, definitely possible. Yeah, I know it's possible. I got it. What are you talking about? I'm telling you I got it. Then it's definitely possible. Doomed? I don't think so. Verbal? I already lost a life? Wow. I'm so bad. Corselet? I don't even know what any of these words mean, though. I'm not sure that's the point, though. I feel like I saw that. Okay. This one, I don't remember. I feel like I may have seen that. Oh man, they got me. Frater. Oh man. Okay, that's more like it. This test is also cultural, because imagine how bad you would if it was Chinese. Yeah, but that's more like a Latin alphabet kind of thing. Because I don't understand more than half of these words. I don't really know, but I'm still able to do it. Alai, thank you so much for the 2-month resub. Yeah, I feel vindicated right now. Let's see how we compare. Top 0.5%. Which game is this test? It's Human Benchmark, Dr. Hart. But this is the verbal memory test. It's not the one my link shows you, but you can get to it. Yeah, Magnus is playing today, Oslo. I gotta get off now because I gotta be at the VG headquarters, getting ready to do commentary on Magnus. This was fun. We should do like more Minesweeper and memory games and stuff like that. It's good variation. Severus, I'm playing on Chess24 since October 1st. It's my 1 month anniversary right now, actually. I switched over because I'm doing work with Play Magnus, who's like the holding company for the new chess empire, with the Play Magnus mobile apps, the Chess24 website, and the Chessable learning tools. Thank you, Alexa. So for any Norwegians who would like to follow my commentary, let's see, VG Sjakk Fischer. I think I should be able to find you the link to the live studio. I think this is it. This is the same link. Yeah, this is it. So this is for the Norwegians in chat, this is the live studio where I'm doing my commentary. Also for the Swedes, Pizza Racer, if you want to do it that way. I don't know if it's IP regulated though. It could be blocked overseas. Or out of the country. Not for the Danes, no, not at all. Just I feel like we have more Swedish viewers than Danish ones. At least people who are active in chat. Did you comment on Magnus's game this stream? No, I did not, Hiataman. We had some casual conversation about what's next and how we expect things to go. It's blocked. That's too bad, Tactico. VPN, yeah, that's the way to go. Okay, thank you everyone for watching. I will announce the winner of our competition in Discord Unfortunately, not that many people participated, so I do want to stress that we are continuing this competition going forward. So also in November, make sure to check out the Hammer Repertoire, play some games. Using the Hammer Repertoire, submit it. You can win 6 months of premium membership. Submissions can be made either in the comment section or the on my Discord. And I'm gonna be back on Tuesday. My next stream on Tuesday in the middle of the night, unfortunately, but that's how it goes. I will be doing Civilization 5 with Botas. We're converting another soul to the amazing universe that is Civilization. I'll link to the schedule in chat. Civilization 5 on Tuesday night / Wednesday. Formally, it starts Wednesday at 1 a.m., but I still maintain that I'm going to be calling it Tuesday night. Yes, it's been a while, Suleiman. It's been a while. We'll see how it goes. Is Bota switching to Chess24 as well? No. But that's why whenever we stream together, it has to be a different game. So we can do like poker and Civilization and whatever else there is. Fortnite. Definitely Fortnite. That's 7 p.m. US East Coast time. Yes, if that is your time zone, that is the correct conversion. Because the US is switching back to their summertime thingy. So that it's going to be 5 hours 6 hours difference like usual instead of 5 right now. Okay. Civ 5 is amazing, Prof. I hope you tune in. You cannot use chess.com anymore at all? No, not during stream. But I can still use it in my spare time, Pro. It's just about who I do business with for my streaming, who I'm promoting on my stream. Switching back to standard. Yes, precisely. Okay, let's see if we can raid someone. I don't know if there's a special technique, big boy. And yes, Harold, I agree. Being in a camera makes it, there's more pressure. Let's see. We can raid Mr. Sam Copeland is playing chess, as is Alpha someone, but I don't know that person. We'll send you over to Sam. Have a nice day, everyone, and I hope the Norwegians among you. I'm not gonna see you, but you'll hear from me doing commentary at VG for the Fisher Random tournament. Bye, everyone.